Now this is a very common case you face, okay?
Okay.
So this is my source. Target. Now, so let me show you my extract. Pump. Replicate here. Then you have the local trail file here and the target trail file here. So extract writes to the local trail, which is read by the pump. Pump writes to the RMT trail, and this is read here by the replicate and here. Okay, guys, did I explain to you about the collector process? I don't remember. Was it this batch or any other batch?
No, we didn't.
I didn't, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So actually, the fact is, pump is not writing to the RMT trail. Till now, what we had seen that pump is writing to the RMT trail.
Yes.
That is the basic theory. But I'm just trying to go in depth now. It is actually the server collector. Okay, so I'll just explain this in brief. Okay. So this is your network. To TCP IP, the pump is what are the changes. Now what happens here? The manager, all right, the golden gate manager at the target end, it will span a collector process. So, for example, collector. So the manager of golden gate will span the process, which will capture all the changes from the pump and then rearrange it in the target field. Okay, this is, I mean, this I thought to keep for the later, huh? That is, in actual real scenario, it is the collector. But we don't say this from start because it will confuse you, right? So that is the thing. So the collector process captures the changes from the pump and write it to the trail. So you can't actually handle the collector, okay? It is managed by the uh, manager of the target. Understanding?
So this
So
process will read the local trials file from the source and it will
no,
write it.
no. It will pump will send the trail, right? So we just capture them and
Okay.
rearrange them in the target trail. That is the
Okay.
only this. Okay. But for simplicity, I'll just take it that it's a pump. Okay. All right. So this is
Okay.
the normal scenario, right? Now, thing is, for example, now your target crashes. So this is actually very common issue you will face regarding the target checkpoint and all. The thing is, for example, your target server is crashed or there is some OS patching and all. And at that time, you forget to stop the pump. Okay. So for example, this server goes down either gracefully or as a outage. Any case, this pump was up in either of the cases. So this will fail, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now the problem here is pump, I mean, which was writing to the RMT trail. So since the server got suddenly crashed, this is not in a, I would say, a consistent state, right? This file, this target trail file will not be in a consistent state, isn't it?
Yes.
And so what happens is that there are few things happen. For example, if the target is brought up, then the pump can start writing to the new trail. Okay, or it will fail, or the pump will fail. That it because since the info in the header of this trail and the info which pump has is not matching. So the pump will still fail, even if the what target is brought up in most of the cases. In few cases, it can understand and it can write to the new trail. Okay, so these issues you can face. I'm not sure if you guys have faced, but this is the issue which you can face in your day-to-day life. For example, what happened in my case that a data center itself was crashed. Okay, a data center itself was crashed. So multiple target databases they were gone down and all, and that's why multiple source pumps which we had in other sites had all failed. And that point there was a corruption in the trail file header. So now let's see how to solve this. Okay, did you understand the scenario?
Yeah.
Okay. And also just I'm seeing some background the noises from your end. If it is possible, just close the outdoors, anything. Okay. All right. So now let's see how to solve it. So if you remember, I had shown you that the replicate is having a checkpoint table in the target, isn't it? And it will have the source SCN, replicate will have the source SCN till which it had applied in the target, right? So there are two ways to solve this issue. So one way is that, for example, the target server was down only for few hours. So in that case, you will have enough. I mean, the trail files will be there in the source and also, right? For the extract and all. Okay.
Yeah.
So thing is, at that case, we just need to handle the pump side. Okay. Like what we'll do, for example, if the replicate has applied, okay, for example, the current time, okay, the target crashed at 9 a.m. Okay, so it has been down for 2 hours. Down, okay. Now the current time is 11 a.m. So the replicate in the target will have SCN related to 9 a.m. right? Source SCN, I would say. Source SCN info related to 9 a.m. So what I need to do, I just need to make my pump again send the trails from 9 a.m. So I will have to alter my pump to send data from 9 a.m. Again, cleanly. This is provided you have trail files in the, you have the local trail files. Provided you have the local trail files. This is the must. And since it is 2 hours, we will have the local trail. Okay? Understanding this? How we are going to plan?
Yeah.
Okay. And you understood, right? This the source SCN. How we'll identify that? Okay. I'll do one thing, Babu. I'll make you the presenter. I'll show you in your VM itself. Do I have the rights? Yeah. Thank you. All right. So that's target here. All right. So let us take rep 3 now. Let's take a different replicate. All right. We have rep 3. Which tables it is replicating? MP2. Okay, let me take rep 4 since it is having 3 tables. Okay. All right, great. So let us see what is the record in the checkpoint table. I hope I had showed you, right, this thing over checkpoint.
I think this is the first time we are seeing Sri.
Is it? I thought I explained this in the during the adding of the replicate. Anyways, no issues. Oh, sorry, I wrote a different group name equal to. Okay. If you remember, whenever we add a replicate, how do we add the classic replicate?
Classic replicate.
Sorry, the voice is very low.
Using the trial files, right?
I'm asking the statement.
Statement we don't remember.
Okay. Chalo, well, let's. Okay, this is a question now. For example, I was in shift, okay, and I added the replicates and all, etc. Now you come after the, I mean, like after my shift, and if someone is asking you what statement did I fired, how will you identify? I mean,
History.
without mystery. Okay, I mean, okay. Suppose the server was also bounced and all. Without calling me, how will you identify what statements I had fired?
Report files.
Which file? Report file. Okay,
Yeah.
just try to find now. Is it that easy to find from the report files? See, the reason I'm asking, I'm telling you the how to troubleshoot. First thing, we
Okay.
need to understand what happened, what was done.
Yeah.
So, GGSCR log. Because this is fun actually, because if I take a separate class on how to troubleshoot, you won't understand. So, like this, I'm trying to explain to you.
Okay. Okay.
Now, go to the last, and here you see all the statements fired or all the error, everything is there here.
Yeah.
Okay, for example, now you want to find that how did I add the replicate, right? Following, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, your voice is low again.
Yes,
Okay,
Sri.
all right. So now for adding the replicate, at least I mean the statement would start like add, either it will be add replicate name or add replicate keyword, then the replicate name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Few people do like very idealistic way, add replicate name, etc. and all. Few directly do like add replicate name that way. So I did a set IC here so that it is case in sensitive. Now I'm doing add replicate rep 04. So I'm trying to search from bottom to up. See here, I got the statement, but this is for rep 04A. Okay, so this is not what I'm looking for. Again, let me type N, so it will search more. Yeah, here is what I got, right? Are you seeing this?
Yes.
So here, if you want to investigate, you can investigate like this. Okay, on 22nd of May, we had added the replicate, and after that, what all more things were done? Any alter were done? So just search for alter, or something was done or not. So that way, this is like you can read what is happening, what happened here. Understanding? So that is the way, because if someone has done something wrong among your team or anything, so this is the way which we can see, scan. Okay, this happened, that happened, etc., and all those things. Okay. So when you say the statement, how add replicate name, then the trail file and checkpoint table. So as you know, by the name checkpoint, it will store all its info, right? Till which point the replicate is reading, till what file it is reading, etc. So let me show you brief info what we have in the replicate checkpoint. And what are the important things we see, because we don't deal with all the columns. Okay, so now if you see here, this replicate is reading from the trail file sequence 17 until this RBA. Even that info you will have here in the checkpoint. So for example, sequence number, that is the trail file sequence number, RBA. Oopsie, I missed a comma here. Oh, can you see this? Is this matching here with this?
18 and 1531. Yeah, it's matching.
Right? So that's why checkpoint table is a very important thing here. Now here what happened, as I showed to you, that the pump has failed because the target server was just bounced, okay, or it was crashed, etc., whatever might be the case. So in short, now pump is not able to write to the target trail. So how to solve in the, this case? Okay, now here I know the SCN till which the target whatever replicate has written. So what I'll do, I'll make my pump means like till this point, I'm absolutely sure everything is good because till this SCN the replicate has written everything. So okay, so for example, your pump is stopped, right, or abandoned. Okay, all right. So now your pump is abandoned here, and as I showed to you, now how to do it. So what you'll do first step, the system is behaving a bit slow here. You stop this for replicate. And also, do you have access to Metalink now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so after this practical, I will show you exactly what are the error messages. I mean, there are a lot of different messages for this
Yes.
scenario. Okay,
Okay.
so now, for example, let's do some. So the situation here is that the pump is abandoned and all. Okay, it's supposed to be 11 a.m. and your replicate is, since pump is abandoned, replicate is also not doing anything, and also but the source side is still active. Okay, so we'll do some transactions in the source. So what were the tables in the replicate? For the MP, MP1, MP2. All right. Okay. But this we also call as pump re-extract because I am making my pump do some duplicate work again. This normally most of the people they shy from doing this. I don't know why, but this is a very safest way. Insert in EMP1 also, EMP2 also. All right. So our scenario is the source is still active, the which changes are happening and all, and meanwhile your pump is failed. Now how to fix it? So what I will do here, basic thing is I'll first look if the replicate is having checkpoint table or not. So as you can see, I have fired these statements for a lot of time. Info replicate detail, just to check. Okay, this guy is having a checkpoint table. I'll go to the target.
The checkpoint table is mandatory, right?
Yeah, I mean it is a very good practice. You can also add the replicate with no checkpoint, but I don't I don't see what reason or what is the harm, in having a checkpoint. It will hardly take bytes. But yes, there is an option in which you can create the replicate without a checkpoint also.
Mm-hmm.
But I will not recommend it. You will understand why. I'll show you in the, I mean, after this, will do the same thing in another way. So at that point, you will understand. Anyways, so now, till this point, the replicate has written. Let me check the timing of this. So I took the SCN from the checkpoint table, which is there in the target, because this SCN corresponds to the SCN of source only. So now I'm here in source. Yes, I'm in source only. So it is 31st May. It is Friday, right? I guess. Right. So after Friday, but nothing was done now. So what I'll do, hmm, wait a second, pxt04. So you know the timing, it was 31st May. Just scan its trail files, okay? So you are saying around two trail files of 31st May, okay? And there are few latest trails now. So now how will you now, from which point, because these are the local trails were written by the extract. Now from some point you need to set your pump back here at any of these trail files and make it to send again. Understanding?
Yes.
I have to send again from 31st May, but already my extract has were written trails till June 3rd now. So exactly from which, because if I set my pump to suppose 20th May and all, then it will be very for duplicates, right? Then my replicate, I'll have to handle the conflict in the replicate end, right?
Yes.
Because it will be a duplicate. So I don't want even that also. So what I'll do, I'll first try to search that SCN. Where is that SCN? So I'm opening any page. I mean, I now thing is I know that the SCN came to 31st, okay, May. So I'm just I'm just setting it to a trail of 29, 1 day or 2 day earlier, so that nothing is missed. I just try to open it from a bit older one, a day or so. User token detail. And these are just, you just need to remember, just you have to set these flags every time. No need to spend much brains here. Now let me search filter. INC means include, CSN means the CSN or the SCN. This is the CSN. So it did not find anything in the trail file sequence 3. So I'll search in the next trail. So do NT, next trail. Then press again N for it to search. Again, nothing. NT. Okay, so it did not find anything here now. Oh, now it find here in this trail. Here. So in which trail did it find this SCN? In trail file sequence 6. 6 is of 3rd June. So are you understanding? This has, I mean, even if the file is latest, it can have still the old data. Okay? Because this file was last modified recently now. So the timestamp changed here. But it had data from 31st May, some part of 31st May also. So now if you see this table name, you can see an insert operation. These are some values, combine, vagera. This is the row ID. This is the SCN, log CSN token. This is the same thing, 1129727. See here, 1129727. Now you understood that you have to set your pump to this train and to this RBA. Understanding?
Yes.
So alter ext04 extseqno. This sequence number 6. You can see when I did NT, sequence number 5 was closed and current log trail is 6. Sequence 6. To which RBA? This is the RBA. Now, what I prefer people doing it, always when you do such thing, do an ET rollover. Because if you see in the target, the replicate, it is having sequence 17. So if you do ET rollover, it will be a clean. It means that the new data is coming from sequence 18. So that's why ET rollover is handy here, where you are only telling it like to stop the current trail and write to the new trail. So now start your pump. Checkpointed. Okay, so now you see it moved to trail file number 7 and also it moved ahead. Now let us see in replicate end to which trail file, how many trail files it was overwritten. 17. So now you see it has overwritten to trail file 18. So let's see, did my replicate identify trail file 18? You remember the ET over class, right? Over replicate might not identify. Let me just try to start and see if it is able to identify or not. So replicate is not moving ahead. So now we will move our to the next trail. I am audible, right?
Yes.
When it's wrong, RBS 0. Let me check the target row. Let's check the stats first. If you see one insert on all the three tables, isn't it? That's what I did, right?
Yeah.
Understanding, right?
Yes.
Now, on the same thing, the situation is same, but as you said, checkpoint table you're not having now. Then how to do it? Because since I had the checkpoint table, it was very easy for me to identify the SCN, right? And then what did I do? I just altered my pump to the appropriate trail of that SCN, and then I went ahead, isn't it?
Yeah.
So now, if you don't have the checkpoint table, that is a challenge. So let's see how we
Sri, one small thing.
can.
I mean, when we see the SCN number, we started the pump from the log sequence 7, right?
No, 6.
6,
Log
okay? 6, right? But when we came to the replicate and when we checked the log sequence of the replicate, it was 17, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when we when we set the pump to log sequence 6 and when we started the pump, okay,
Mm-hmm.
is it going to
Mm-hmm.
send the trial files from 7 to 18 to the target end or
It will it will be 18 actually, 18 and 19. Actually, why? Okay. So you mean to say that if you just alter the pump and don't do
Hmm.
an ET for rollover, what will happen? Is your doubt?
Mm,
See,
kind of,
here
okay.
I altered. Here I
Okay,
altered. Okay.
okay.
So okay. After this, what is your doubt now?
No, from Oh, okay. You altered. From which sequence? From which sequence? The pump will pick up from the source and it will send the trial files to the target. From six,
Here
right?
it is. Yeah, 6 and
Okay.
RBA do this.
Okay. But how many trial files are there in locally? Can we see that after six? How many trial files are there on local end? Local trial files.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, let me show you. I think I did an sh minus, sorry, ls minus lart here somewhere.
Yes, there were 7 files, I guess.
Okay, 1 second. Let me, where is that statement?
It's
Ah, here it is. See,
So only two files, right? Six and seven only.
yeah,
Because we okay.
it doesn't
Okay.
matter. Even if there are 100 files ahead,
Uh-huh.
you need to identify from which point to start. Even if
Okay.
you're starting from 100 files behind, that is
Okay.
still okay.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
You need,
Can we go to the replicate end and see? Can we go to the replicate end and see how many trail files are there?
okay. Replicate and they were
18.
17 here. Now it was 18 after starting the pump.
Uh,
Before that is what? 17. Here it is. This is after I started the pump here. See here. 18:1 came. See the timestamp.
No, but what content might be there in the from the because we started from the six, right? Here in the target 10, we can see that 6, 7, 8, 9,
Okay.
10, 11,
You
12,
mean
13.
to say that, you mean to say that, for example, in source, if we are having sequence 6, that should
Uh-huh.
map to the same sequence in target also?
I
Are
mean,
you, or like, is your doubt is like why we are having 18 trails in the target and only 7 trails at the source end?
yes.
Okay, that has no relation. Okay, that okay. Thing is like now, now see here. Did you notice one thing? Few of the trail files are very small. See here, 8881. Are you seeing this?
Yeah.
These are having only the header info.
Okay. Okay.
Thing is,
Okay.
pump it sometimes just writes a dummy trail that is internal to the software. Even if you want, if I open this trail file for you, there's nothing there except the header information. So do not confuse that if in source you're having sequence 6, the target also should map to sequence 6. It will never happen.
Okay. That's what my question is. Understood.
Yeah. But still, I want, if you want, I'll show you this. So let us see now. It is showing it is having two records, right? So let's see what are those records. This is just the basic header information. What is the OGG home, trail file location? See here. Again, if I do an again some server related information, right? See here. Nothing it is happening. It is just a restart. I mean, so nothing related to your application data. So you will many times see such scenarios where your target is having more trails than your source. in which many of the trails might be having just the header info. Header info means if you see the trail file size really small, like like this 800 bytes, 881 bytes, or in kbs. I mean, normally in production you have trail file with the size of 500 MB, but if you're seeing trail file of 1 KB, that is what you have to see. These are only the, let's say, just having the header info. So pump does that actually. To avoid that, I did an ET rollover. Even if I had not done the ET rollover, pump, what would I have done? It would have written trail file 18, which only the header information, like a small size, and then trail file 119 would have been there. And just in the
Okay.
idle way.
Okay.
So let's do one thing. Now, in this practical, I will show you that. I will not do ET rollover on the pump and then, well, let's see. All right. So now, is your doubt clear, right?
Actually, but so I can say this statement then from the golden gate point of view, if I want to say that my replicate and pump are in sync, so
Hmm.
then the trial file sequence is not going to be a criteria. So
Exactly. Exactly. Perfect.
something else, maybe the SCN of the
No, no,
trial
let's
file.
not go that far. Okay. If you, okay, very
Okay.
good Coco question. So now, if you see here, pump is on trail file number 7, or replicate is on 18. Now, how can
Hmm.
you be absolutely sure, right? That is your doubt, है ना?
Yeah,
Even if
yeah,
you're having lag 0, still you want to be very sure that they are in sync.
yeah,
So check the checkpoint of the pump. So send pump status. In the checkpoint class, I had showed this statement.
yeah.
Send pump name status. Now you see from which point is it reading trail file sequence 7. Oh, that is true, right? Here also you're having 7 only, correct? First, focus on this part only. Current read position. Understanding this? Here you are saying
Yeah.
sequence number 7. Here also it is 7. RB 3045 3045. Timestamp is okay. This exe trail is this, right? Yes, I mean, I hope it is matching, isn't it? Are you able to see this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, see the current right. It's writing to 18, right?
Yeah.
My replicate is in 18 only. RBA 4045, 404. That's it. So with this, you can see like my pump is writing to 18 and my replicate is also on 18. It means they are in actual sync. Following?
Yes.
So this is a way you can be absolutely sure. Okay. So now let's stop the pump. Let's just do some more transactions, okay? All right. So something happened in target, the pumps are abandoned or stopped, and source is still active. Okay, the same scenario. Understanding? So replicate is also stopped or abandoned. Anyways. So now you don't have the checkpoint table. Okay. So how to do it? What I'll do, I'll open the trail file and from there only I will try to search. So now what I will do here, I will go to the end of the trail file. So pause EOF, end of file. Okay. Following? I went to the end of file. Now what I'll do, from the trail file, uh, I will try to see till which point, like what are the transactions. For that, before that, where is the previous output? Can you scroll down? Can you scroll up for me, Babu? It is slow from my end. Just scroll up to the login output above. Scroll up.
So,
Up.
which one you want to?
More. Scroll up. I'll say stop and put the new stop. Scroll up more. Yeah, wait. Yeah, correct. Leave it. Okay. A second. Take me to the point where did we do the alter pump? Where is that? Anyways, I want to show you that. I'll show you here only. So what is happening here? So what I'll do, I'll go to the end of the trail file and I will start scanning from down to up. Okay. Because what I need to find is what was the last transaction my replicate had read. I would say when I say last transaction, there are two things here. Transaction, right? Suppose what transaction one. It's having one insert statement, okay? At start, and then some two updates. Okay, that is what transaction one for you. Transaction two is only one statement, that is only one update, or only one statement, one something like, for example, one update. So how it is stored in trail file is that for any transaction at the start, it will have a flag called what transaction TRA. Transaction ID as 0 at the start of the transaction, and for between it will be like 2 or 1. Okay, 1 or 2, something like that. And for transaction which is having only one statement, it will have this flag as 03. So now I want you to concentrate on either this 00 or 03, whichever it is. So let us search filter include transind 0. So what does this show me? From last, this is the start of a transaction. Are you following it, or do I need to show you in paint actually?
Fine, yeah.
No, are you understanding what I'm trying to do?
Yeah, yeah, we are understanding. You can go ahead, yeah.
Okay. The thing is, here if you see the trans ID X00. Okay, so what I'll do, I will make a note of this RBA, that is 329.90. Now, what I'll do, I'll go again down, filter clear, filter INC TRAN IND 3. Okay, so this I am not having anything with trans ID 3, since you can see it is metadata info. Here if you see, it was an insert statement. So metadata info is not required for you. What I actually try to see, okay, for example, here there were some statements and all, insert or update, and this RBA was lower than this. This is 3290, this is 3234. It is lower, but this is only metadata info. So not required actually. So here, so what I did, I'll say again. Now you are there in the last trail of the replicate. Okay, that is 18, correct? Now at
Yes.
this point, everything has failed. Now you need to identify, okay, it has written till trail file number 18, but I don't know in what source SCN, because checkpoint table is not there. And if you can see, my replicate has read everything that is from trail file 18 till this RBA 40445. So it has read the whole trail file. So what I'll do, I'll scan from the end of the trail file for any transaction. Okay, so what we normally do, as I showed you here, for any transaction, if this flag is 0, it means that is the start of the transaction. And if it is 1 or 2, that is, it is in between. So thing is, what I'm doing, from the last, I found, okay, this was the last good transaction till from which the replicate had written trans ID 0, which I tried to find by this filter clause here. I think I scrolled too much far away. Here, what I did, I went to the end of the file. Same way, like in VI, we do Shift G, right? I went to the end of the file and pause reverse. So now I want the the log dump to scan from down to up. So reverse, and then I'm trying to search this way. Trans ID 0. So if got this transaction. So it was on Scott EMP, inside operation, this RBA, and trans ID 0, right? So now I got this. What I will tell my pump now, trans ID 0 will only have those transaction will have this SCN flag, this log CSN flag. So now here I uh, understood, okay, till this point my replicate has written. All right. So I'll go to the pump and I will try to find, okay, what was this trail? And where is the trail with this SCN? And then I will alter my pump to that. Like when we had the checkpoint table, we directly got this value from the checkpoint table. But since we don't have the checkpoint table, we are doing this manually. Understanding it?
Yeah, now this is from remote trial, right?
Yes, 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 exactly, exactly.
Okay.
Now you have to again do log dump, but at the source end.
Mhm.
Okay, so this SCN you got. Store this also, sorry. So now, first take this SCN. Now why I try to find the timestamp so that I can approximate, try to search. For example, pump is having 1,000 tail files. You cannot do this, right? It will keep on scanning every file. So here I just try to give a reference point for my pump to start. So when I do a select SCN to night time, now I understand, okay, it was 11:03. So go to my pump now. So 11:03, right? So it can be so so it can be in this trail file only, isn't it? Because this last modified time is 10:50. So the last record it would be related to 10:50 here, but here it is 11:29. It means in this only I should be having, right, that SCN. Understanding?
Yeah.
What I'll do, but I still I like to scan it from one step back. Okay. Now filter include CSN and this one. Do N. Nothing is there. I'll go to the next trail, NT. Again N. So here it is. I found it here, right? It's an insert on Scott EMP. It is trail file number 7 and this RBA, right? Understanding?
Yes.
And if you see here, my pump has already moved ahead, isn't it? So I'll have to alter it back again. This time I will not do ET rollover, okay? What is the RBA? This one. If you see in the target, you have only till 18 sequence trail, okay? Following, right? Up till now. Now I will start my pump.
Yes, yes.
Give some time to the pump. Okay. The pump seems to have read everything. Now let's see what is there in the target. Ideally, you should have only sequence 19 now, but let's see. See here. Did you see this? As I had explained to you earlier, it 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 made sequence 19 with just the dummy update, only the header file. The actual data is in sequence 20.
Yes.
Understood?
Yeah.
Now, now normally in such cases, our replicate will easily identify the next trail. See here, now our replicate automatically it identified. But while we do ET rollover, we have to alter it, right? That is what we saw in the class, right? If you do ET rollover and if you don't handle the respective downstream processes, it will be stuck. So now if you see again, it had captured 1 1 insert. I mean, these are actually a bit high level stuff actually when you really face issue, right? At that time, I mean, now it is seeming a bit easy, but at that time it is a lot of stress.
Okay, can you explain this one, like how we have identified this? You said that using transaction IDs, right?
Hmm. Okay,
Zero,
sure. Why not?
zero.
Why not? Why not? Sure. Let me share the screen. Okay, now transaction one. Okay, it started with one insert, update, update, then over. Transaction two, only one update. Transaction three, update, update, delete. Okay, some few more things. Suppose these are your, all these three are the committed ones. Okay. Now,
Okay.
how will it be written in the trail file? So for the first section, transaction 1, I'm just telling the important things, okay? It will have timestamp and all, everything. But for now, TRN is IND. This is the for transaction flag. Now, here, for transaction 1, trans ID, since it is the start, it will be 00. And then it will tell you what is the table name, like you must have seen, right? Then which operation, insert. So this will be one in one RBA. In the next RBA, it will be trans ID some 01, table name something, same update operation. Then again, transaction ID, for example, 2 here, table name, update operation. This is only for transaction 1 here. This is the way our record would be for return. This is only for transaction 1. Understanding? Let me, okay. Now you share the screen, Babu. Well, let's see this in actual log dump.
Okay.
Okay, what happened? Sorry. Okay. Now this replicate was in sequence 18, right? It's responding very slow, man. Okay. So this is the header information. You can see here the versions, etc. Not required for me now. It's all metadata info. Now, here you see there is one for transaction here, right? Trans ID X00. Seeing this?
Yes.
Which table? What operation? Insert.
Yeah.
Now again do a N. Okay, now this is something metadata info again. Leave it. Not for us. And if you see here the transaction ID is 01. That means it is in between. So you should never set your pump to in between, because that will be data integrity issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now you see trans ID is 01, X01, 01. Which operation? Insert. Table name Scott. RBA this. Next. Are you understanding? Again,
This is
this is
metadata again. Yeah.
actually this is a new feature, okay, in 12.2, which I will explain actually. I mean, I'm not sure if you have heard of devgen file or assume target such parameters. So you don't need to use any one of those in 12.2. because the structure information is also stored in the trail file itself. Again, see here, transaction ID 02, some insert operation, table. Transaction ID 03 means this is the only statement in that. Okay, but this is this is related to an event. Okay, this is not related to some application data. If you see the name is empty here, etc. That's why. Again, metadata info. See here, again, it's the start of a new transaction now. 00. Understand this? Because everything, see, I mean, all these info are really high end, which I'll explain to you. But the major ones which we actually use are these one. I mean, what I've seen here, this, which operation to identify, then the actual data value. Okay. But for this, this practical which we have, we just need to understand what is the start and this SCN.
We are just looking for the zero transaction ID.
Exactly. So if you see for zero transaction ID only, you will have the SCN value. For example, if there is for transaction ID is 01, no SCN we are having. Let me do again. See, it is 01, okay? For transaction ID 01, I don't have any SCN, right?
Yeah.
That log sequence is not there, only row ID is there. But if you see here, here the row ID, log CSN and transaction ID also.
Yeah, but
Correct?
if the data is already inserted for the other transaction IDs, how it's going to work?
Others means what? I mean,
Let's say
okay.
for the transaction ID 00, there is one insert for one table. Right? For the transaction ID 02, there is some other insert or update for some data.
Yeah, but that is part of the same transaction only.
Okay.
For any transaction, see here, any this whole thing is transaction one only, man. Only for the first record, it will be 00. But this
Okay.
01, 02 also corresponds to this only.
Okay.
So what I do ideally, we set it to the start of the transaction, right? Because that acid property, na, you should whenever, like suppose if the transaction one is having insert, update, and if you apply only these two updates, that is actually wrong, right? Either don't apply the transaction itself or apply the whole thing, isn't it? So that's why I took it to the starting of this transaction, the starting point
Okay,
of
that's fine.
the
Yeah. Which one will consider as a transaction 2?
in between. So transaction 2 means the third update might be the over transaction 2. Or if you're having suppose 4-5 updates,
Okay.
even they will be having transaction 2, because transaction 3 means that a transaction which is having only one statement, that is transaction 3.
I'm not sure if I'm confusing you, but my question is, let's say there are many transactions happened in the trial file 20.
Okay, now here is one doubt. When you're saying many transactions, like for transaction 1, 2, 3, or in one transaction you're having many statements.
It's either case, right? These are just statements.
Okay, fine.
I don't know whether what we are considering as a transaction here, but let's say I have filed
See,
some 5, 6.
transaction is what? Okay, wait a second. This is one, what transaction means a group of statement were run in one session, isn't it? So only, for example, the transaction one, I did one insert, update, and then I did a commit. So this
Oh,
whole part comes in one transaction,
mm,
isn't it?
oh,
Now in another session, I just did an update and then co- commit. So this is one transaction. Same way here.
okay.
So that is
Mm,
what transaction means, right? Right.
yeah. Yeah, my question is, let's say these 3 transactions were happened in the same trial
Mm-hmm.
file, right?
Correct, correct. It will be in the same trail file. Correct.
Yeah, but we are looking for only the transaction ID 00, right? Which one we have 3 transactions here.
Okay. Wait. I'll explain. The thing is, I will write here for other also. The transaction two. Then you will, understand. For transaction two, now since this is having only one statement, right? So here it will be having trans IND 03, table name, and which operation update. So for this, not yellow. So for this is the record, okay? In the log end,
Okay.
or in the log down. Now going to transaction three. The first statement is what in transaction three? Update,
Update.
right? So here also it will be trans ID 00 for transaction three. Table name it will be having an update. Then which is the next statement again update in trans IND 01 table update operation. Again, for the third, what is the third statement in the transaction? It is a delete statement. IND 02 or again 01, whatever it is. Table name delete. It will be stored this way. The whole thing here, the whole thing here falls for transaction 3. So trans ID 00, it will be there for every transaction if they're having some group of statements. If a transaction is having only one statement, it will just have trans ID 03. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, let me show you also.
Transaction starts with the trans ID 00.
Exactly. That's it. I
But
don't
when we
even care of for transaction ID 1 or 2. I just go
okay,
for 00 or 03.
okay.
Yeah, please ask. Sorry, I think I stopped you in between.
Yeah, but we have the 3 transactions, and 3 transactions have the transaction ID 00. When we
Okay,
identify
here. Huh.
CSN, so the
Hmm.
CSN is different for each transaction, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
How we are going to handle that?
Okay, so now what did I do here in that example which I showed to you?
Mm-hmm.
I opened the trail file, right?
Uh-huh.
The lockdown statement I'm asking. Then
Yeah.
I set out the flags, right? Like detail, data,
Yes.
GGS, token, etc. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So I set the flags.
Yes.
Set the flags. Then what did I do? Now I went to the end of the trail file, right? How I did?
Yeah,
Pause
the trial
UI.
you are reading in the reverse. Yes.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that my replicate has read till this RBA.
Mm-hmm.
So if replicate is here, it means it has read these for transactions also, है ना?
Correct. Yes.
I just want to identify the latest transaction which the replicate read.
Okay. Okay.
That's why I'm going to the last.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even if I can go from first also, but that is for duplicate, na? I
Correct.
want to
Correct. Yes.
find what is the last transaction my replicate read. So what did I go? I went to the end of the trail file. Here,
Yes.
then what did I do? I made it at reverse so that it will read from EOF till above in upwards way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because reading from top, it is very difficult and headache for me, right, to identify the correct transaction.
Yeah. Correct.
Here
Correct.
we have only three. In prod environment, you will go crazy if you start to read from start. So I'm going from bottom. I went to the last. I did pause EOF, pause reverse, and then I tried that filter set. Filter include CSN, not CSN, TRANS, IND 0. So what it
Mm.
will do? It will start from the last end of file, come here. Okay, it is
Yeah.
saying now trans ID is 02. No, sorry. Trans ID 01. No, sorry. Trans ID 0. Yes, correct. So this is the transaction which it read at the end, right? The latest one.
Yes. Yes.
Is how we are identifying.
Yeah. Got it. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. So thing is like to avoid this pain only, I would recommend to have you checkpoint table. Are you understanding how much pain is involved now?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And if for example 10, 20 replicates have failed, this is not feasible, you know, this option.
Mm. Yes.
How much
So
will you reduce? I mean,
in real time, everyone uses the checkpoint table.
exactly.
Okay.
And if anybody is not using it, it means they are not doing the proper way, man. So thing is
Okay.
like if you do the ideal things right from the start, you will avoid a lot of pain.
Okay. Okay.
Alternatives are there, but again, it's on how much pain you want to take. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So that is how it will identify the transaction 3.